Yes, people, we are live. Welcome along to Aston Villa from the stands. It is Aston Villa versus Manchester City in the Premier League. And after Man City looking like they're steamrolling the league again and Erling Haaland in form, and Aston Villa finding some better form after beating Tottenham, but an indifferent performance and result against Go Ahead Eagles. This game is completely wide open. I hope you're well. I hope you're good. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button for me. This is our build up to our Super Sunday, and we're all locked in. I haven't looked at the team lineup yet, so you're going to get my live reveal of the Aston Villa side. Is it going to be good? Is it going to be strong enough? We'll have to wait and see. But here we go, people. Let's have a look then at the lineup. Just about to get it on my screen now. We should hopefully have a nice plethora of attacking talent on the pitch today. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I want. But let's see who Don Unai Emery has chosen. Just getting the screen up for me there. Let's get some out the videos in the chat. Let me know how you're all doing. Why can't I get this? There we go. Oh wow, team news is in, and it's a fascinating one. I've just seen there is a certain someone not included on the bench today either. Wow. Team news is in. What do we think? What do we think of this one? Emi Martinez, Cash, Konsa, Powell, Luca Dean. That back four I sort of expected. Anana, Kamara, McGinn, Buendia, Rogers, Watkins. So he's gone with Amadou. Amadou comes into the starting lineup with Kamara. McGinn wide and Buendia wide and there. But the big omission is there is no Harvey Elliott on the bench, is there? Am I right in thinking that? Am I right in seeing that? No Harvey Elliott on the Aston Villa bench. What is going on with that one, people? Wow. What are people's thoughts on that? So on the bench, you've got Bizot, Lindelof, Matson, Mings, Bogard, Barkley, Gessond, Malen, and Sancho. So Gessond sits out. Malen on the bench. Maybe he could have started as a number 9 today instead of Watkins, potentially. Sancho still can't get a start. But the big omission of Harvey Elliott. Absolutely. That's just crazy. What a waste of a loan signing. What justice for Harvey Elliott. What's this guy got to do to get even in the matchday squad now? So yeah, that is your Aston Villa team. Junior says selection that's fine to me. Look, I think on paper, he's gone with a lot more of a solid defensive shape side. There's no doubt about that. There is a lot more defensive structure and stability in that team, especially because he's got Buendia, McGinn, Rogers as the front three, as opposed to Evan Gessond. I mean, the one thing people would argue is, Gessond's helped Matty Cash out this season. Cash has had his better games with Gessond in front of him. But that is one argument. But I guess it's that central area: Anana, Kamara, McGinn, Buendia, Rogers, all robust. We've got to stop Man City playing through the middle. Basically, we're trying to cut the supply line to Erling Haaland. Now, another argument for me, Duncan's put Mings will be better versus Haaland. I understand that argument, to be fair. But I just think that Powell and Konsa's relationship has been much better this season. I think Mings has been a little bit suspect, I can't lie. And therefore, I sort of don't mind this selection. I don't mind the selection of not using Tyrone Mings today. But the one I can't get over, guys, I'm not going to beat a rush around it, is I cannot fathom that Harvey Elliott doesn't even match day squad. So there are options on that bench. As I said, you've got the likes of Donyell Malen, you've got the likes of Evan Gessond, you've got the likes of Jadon Sancho, but no Harvey Elliott. I mean, when people want to talk about our transfer business and laugh at it and mock it, Harvey Elliott now is one of the worst pieces of business I've ever seen. He'll be kicking himself. He's gone from having less game time at Aston Villa. He's gone from having less game time at Aston Villa than did at Liverpool. And I didn't think that was possible because the fact that Mo Salah was keeping him out of the team. So imagine being Imagine being Harvey Elliott in this situation. But yeah, big up everyone in the chat. Let me know how you're feeling. What else would you change? So we're talking about the fact. Do you think Watkins? And I know Duncan is adamant on this that Watkins will waste out. Actually, does anyone agree with that? Is anyone looking at the fact that actually probably could have done with Donyell Marlon starting today as the number 9? Let me know your thoughts on that one. But yeah, but exactly what Duncan says. The impression is loud and clear. This is loud and clear. It couldn't be clearer from Unai Emery. Is that I get the impression we don't want to hit the 10 games threshold the side of Xmas with Elliott. That's how it looks. Meaning we don't want to take him on. Meaning we do not want to take him on. Which, again, quite frankly, absolutely criminal behaviour. What's going on with my mouse? So yeah, what is good? Sorry guys, I'm having a bit of a. There you go. That's better. But yeah, so I'm going to show you the Man City team in a minute. We all know that Erling Haaland is the threat. We all know that we've got to keep Erling Haaland quiet. And that Aston Villa team is shaped like that. As rightly said, Pau Torres versus Erling Haaland could be could be interesting. But yeah, big up LeBeau. You can have some bit of chess with Manchester United at the moment. Good win against Brighton. And that's the thing. Teams yesterday dropping points. I'll have a look at the Premier League table in a minute. But we know the fact that Chelsea dropped points yesterday. Liverpool dropped points yesterday. And when we talk about drop points, they tell nil point. So both Man City, both Aston Villa will be looking at this in retrospect going, points mean prizes here today. And Arsenal, so there's lots of games going on in this 2 o'clock kickoff. But I'm just going to get the Man City team up now. Manchester City, here we go. Who on earth? Oh my God, their graphics terrible. Possibly the worst graphic in world football for starting 11. Possibly the worst graphic I've ever seen in my life. Actually, I cannot get over that. Whoever done that needs question marks over their employment because that is disgustingly bad. So yeah, I want to know your thoughts on this Man City team. I haven't watched. I'll be honest, haven't watched much of Man City, but obviously they've got the big man Donnarumma in goal, which we know all about. He is like a game changer. They got Mateus Nunes, he plays like a right back now. Stones, Diaz, and Gvardiol. It is a really good back four. When all of those guys are fit, they are ticking, they are strong, and they've come together well. Rangers, Bernardo Silva, Oscar Bob, Phil Foden, Savinho, Haaland. It's a mixture of that combination of that pace, of that grittiness. They do have Doku on the bench. They do have Kovacic, Marmouche. But Savinho, he looks like he's the guy. He looks like he's the one. And we'll have to tell. But yeah, that Man City's team is strong. It's pacey. I think the one difference, and I said this in my preview, the one difference between today's game and our previous games at Villa Park is I think this has always been Aston Villa versus Man City Jack Grealish. That's what I think it's been. That's what I think it's shaped out to be. And I think that ultimately, when Man City have come to Villa Park, the attention has been booing Jack Grealish. When will Jack Grealish get on the ball? What will Jack Grealish do? Instead of focusing on the football itself, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I do believe that the attention on this game is going to be slightly different. I do. So, yeah. LeBeau says, fourth in the league. Come on, Villa, pull the socks up there and give us something to laugh at. City, like the Scousers. Exactly. So on Villa today. We can then win this one at home like last season if we have the players on that can score. Obviously, Duncan, we saw Watkins, we saw Buendia, we saw Guessond, all three of them not take their chance in the first half against Go Ahead Eagles. We can't be missing that chance that today. Nicky D says, yes, Barry's fine today. Absolutely. By the way, guys, if you are an iPhone user, make sure you've downloaded the Big Up app to do the watch along and get your fantasy team in. I've tried to squeeze Haaland into my team and it wasn't easy. But yeah, get your free fantasy football team in. You'll win prizes. Check out the pinned comment. You need to pick 5 players to score points free of charge against Manchester City. So there we go. They're just re-showing that Emi Buendia goal against Spurs. Right, let's get the league table up then. Let's get the league table up and make sure you're smashing the like button while you come in here. And let's get the league table up and running. So here we go. I can't believe how many games there's on today. Actually, there's some interesting games, some tasty games on today. Let's have a look. I'll share that with you now. But yeah, these are the games that are going on. The 2 o'clockers. Who cares about that? 4:30 is dusty, but I can see that being an Everton win. They've got Bournemouth Forest, Arsenal Palace. I think Arsenal Palace, the Eberechi as a derby. Villa City and Wolves Burnley. It's more that Bournemouth one will be interesting. If Bournemouth pick a home win, they'll be right up amongst it in the top four. Arsenal, of course, have got pressure on them with, as I said, Liverpool and Chelsea both dropping points yesterday, and the same with Villa, Man City. But this is how the league table. Looks, and as we can see, that's nuts. By the way, Sunderland sat in second. What do people think of that? Sunderland in second. They must be pinching themselves. They must be absolutely pinching themselves. But Villa yet to be in the top 8. But as I said, a Man City win today will put them close to Arsenal. But as I said, Arsenal's got the incentive today to run right. Arsenal with a win at home against Palace, the gap will be even bigger. Man United in top 4, rare sight. Liverpool in 6th. But if we go to Villa, we have to scroll quite a bit down. But if we go to Villa in 12th, a win today would put us on the same amount of points as Liverpool. What a turnaround that would be. Going into the start of the season and saying, you know what, 9-10 games in fact, if I said that to you, 9-10 games into the season, Aston Villa will be on the same amount of points as Liverpool. What would you guys say? You probably think I'm a madman. Probably think I've been drinking. But if I told you 9 games into a season, Villa would be on the same amount of points as Liverpool and Bournemouth, and how many points? And 2 points off second. You'd be laughing. So it is a big incentive today. It's really congested in this middle of the table pack here. As I said, Spurs have got to play today. Everton are slightly below us. They could go above us. So it is quite congested in the middle of that pitch. But yeah, a pitch table. So even a point today. Do you know what? If we could get a draw today and just crawl up and keep breathing down the necks of the top 5, top 6, that would be absolutely incredible. But yeah, that Premier League table is mad. To put it into comparison of goals scored, Emi Buendia being Aston Villa's joint top goal scorer in the Premier League so far, compare it to Man City's Erling Haaland, 11 goals. But as everyone says, the way to beat this Man City team is quite clear. Stop Erling Haaland. Will their wingers contribute with goals? Will their wingers chip in? We'll have to wait and see on that one. But yeah, that's the league table. If you haven't seen the starting lineup, I will get that up for you again right now. But yeah, big up to everyone. Make sure you are smashing the like button. As I said, if you are someone who answered iPhone on our live interactive poll, let's just see how many people are on iPhones. Cool, more Android. 47% of you are Team iPhone. If you are Team iPhone, make sure you go on the App Store and download Big Up so you can watch the watch along for free with no adverts whatsoever. But yeah, LeBeau says Villa fans should have respect to Grealish. He's got you fellas 100 mil. It's not his fault the club spent it stupidly. He should have stuck a cheeky bid in when he was leaving City. Yeah, I think a lot of Villa fans would have, now the fact that Harvey Elliott, and I'll come to the starting lineup news there, now the fact that Harvey Elliott doesn't even make our squad, and he was a loan signing, it just makes you think, could we have not gone early on Jack? That's what I've got to say on that matter. Could we not have gone early on Jack? But yeah, the boys are going to be focused. They know they've got a better performance. That go-ahead Eagles, the players would have known that wasn't expectations. The players would have known they fell short there. I'm going to put a light on in a minute because it's gone darker. But yeah, let's go to this Villa lineup once again. There's breaking news in the Aston Villa team sheet for me, and that is that Harvey Elliott doesn't even make the matchday squad. And you've got reports coming out again from John Towley, basically saying how Unai Emery said that, he's still learning to adapt to the system. He's still learning to play the Villa way. He's still learning this. He's still learning that. And I think, I'm not being funny, but it's a little bit disrespectful to a Premier League player who has played in the Premier League, who knows the Premier League inside out, has scored goals in the Champions League for Liverpool. I don't think he's really got to adapt too much, has he? I don't think there's not much adaptation needed. So, yeah, I think that was a bit of a crazy comment, even honest, from Unai Emery. But yeah, go through the team again. Martinez in goal, Cash, Konsa, Powell, Luka Dean, Onana, Kamara, McGinn, Buendia, Rogers, or Watkins. That is your Aston Villa team. I think, real talk though, chat, were we saying that actually, with chess, do we think Donyell Marlin should have started it today? Like, is Donyell Marlin 100% the player that should be starting for Aston Villa in that 11 as the main man up front? Let me know your thoughts on that. Or do you actually think that no, that was the right call, playing Watkins against a Man City team that he can run around? Afternoon to Potaz, going 2-0 win today. I like that confidence. Clean sheet as well. Look, I think the one thing I am happy about is with this Aston Villa side, especially from the bench, we have some attacking options for once. When we had the days of basically either just Jacob Ramsey off the bench or one of Leon Bailey off the bench, sometimes just John Duran off the bench. At least we have a little bit of option today. We have Sancho, we have Malin, we have Gesson. Not that they're going to light the world up. And Jadon Sancho and Gesson, for me, not that they're going to light the world up, but there has to be some sort of idea in Aston Villa and Unai Emery's head that we have game changers on the bench. But there you go. Save and Bob. I haven't seen much of Oscar Bob either, so keep an eye on him. Malin should be starting, says Duncan. No, should be playing, but not as a striker. Yeah, I'm thinking Malin as a right winger would have been really good today. To play on transition, to play on the counter attack, I reckon that would have been class to have Malin. But I also see his thinking. He's playing that compact midfield today. The idea, the game plan is simple. Stop Man City playing through the middle of our pitch. LeBeau said, if you can keep the space between defence and midfield compact and keep Haaland from running behind, there's a good chance of a result. Now, that is the next question. Do you see Aston Villa playing that stupidly high line today? That is a big question, and I'd like you to know. And I'd like to know your thoughts on that one. Will Aston Villa play the risky high line, which we seem more comfortable with, or are we going to drop off? So yeah, right. I'm going to switch over now to Big Up. So make sure you are locked in, and yeah, we're going to get locked in with that one. So if you haven't already, I'm going to put this on, switch over to here, okay, and we're going to be in the Big Up right now, okay? I thought you were sleeping. So yeah, head over to Big Up. I'm going to put that link in the chat right now, okay? And come over to there, and I'd greatly appreciate that. And I'll see you in a second. Head over to there. Big Up, everyone, up the Villa, and I'll see you in the Big Up chat. Head over there. Ta-da.